is the news leader. ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
A very special reunion today between firefighters and a man they pulled out of the World Trade Center. Firefighters also met the newest member of his family. Stacey Sager has their story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing my husband home that day.
Her husband is Pasqule Buzzelli, and had it not been for several New York City firefighters, Pasqule would not have lived to see the birth of his brand new baby, Hope. She was born 1 week after September 11th.
He told us that he was married, he had his wife at home, he was worried about her, he knew she'd be worried about him, and that he was expecting a little baby very shortly. So it made it even more important to get him home.
There are few words that can even describe Pasquale's surreal descent from the 64th floor of Tower 1 that day. He made it down to the 22nd floor, but then the building began to fall.
I felt a big rush of wind, almost like a sandblaster type thing. I just kept my face covered. Then eventually I felt myself free falling.
He fell down to the 6th floor, drifting in and out of consciousness, eventually landing on a 5x5 cement block, surrounded by what the firefighters call a birdcage of wires and metal. It was firefighter Jimmy Kiesling who climbed above that metal with rope and helped lower Pasquale down.
The guys below told me, no, to the left, to the right, where I could lower them, where they would be able to grab them.
A girlfriend of one of the firefighters is also a Red Cross volunteer who did a computer search to find Pasquale and arrange the reunion.
It had to be done, right? No, absolutely.
A badly needed happy occasion for a fire company that lost 11 men that day.
And to my husband, just thank you for being alive and for being there for the birth of our baby. And I know you had an angel on your shoulder that day. Four angels.
Pasquale and his hope, now a symbol of 4 men's bravest hopes, that at least one would be taken out alive on that day. In Staten Island, I'm Stacey Sager, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Don't you love stories like that?
I do. And I also love the baby in the hat.
It's very cute.
Oh.
You're watching CBS 2, home of the CBS 2 Information Network.
Live from the CBS 2 Information Center in New York, this is CBS 2 News at 6.
A chance to say thank you.
One of the survivors pulled out of the rubble of the Trade Center disaster met the firefighters today who saved his life.
He thanked them and he introduced them to a very special person. CBS 2 reporter Whitney Casey has more on the heartwarming reunion. Watch.
Well, thank you so much.
First, he meets the men who saved him. Moments later, they meet the reason why he's so happy to have been saved.
Look, these are the men that brought your daddy home the same night. You see that?
Pasqule Buzzelli, his wife Louise, and their 2-week-old baby Hope, named appropriately by the man who almost lost all hope that September 11th day, her father. Pasqule Buzzelli, one of the only survivors saved just an hour after Tower 1 exploded into the ground. His rescuers, 4 of New York's bravest. Engine 228's Michael Lyons and Mike Morabito. Rescue 5's John Drury and Jimmy Kiesling from Rescue 2.
At first I didn't even believe I was alive.
Trapped in a stairwell on the 22nd floor, Pasqule says he was knocked unconscious. When he awoke, he saw his rescuers.
At that time, I didn't know. I told them, oh, we're going to get you down. And I'm looking like, I don't know how I'm going to get them down.
They just worked their way around me. They actually came up right behind me, just did a lot of mountain climbing, put together a little rope cradle, you know, a little skinny rope. I didn't know if it was going to hold me. I'm a big guy.
He's taken to the hospital and finally reunited with his expectant wife, and more than 2 months later, his rescuers.
So what was the genesis of this reunion? They say maybe some divine intervention combined with the tireless work of a Red Cross volunteer who just happened to be the girlfriend of Michael Lyons of Engine 228. He was one of the rescuers that saved Pasqule. She looked through dozens of databases for that one name.
When Michael told me about Pasqule and his name, that was all I had. I went through the survival database on one of the internet sites, and I just put in first name P, last name A, first name P, last name B, all the way through to Z.
A glimmer of hope, a smile of relief, a respite from the grieving of their brethren. The FDNY's bravery today shining mostly in their humility.
There's nothing that we did that the other 343 men who didn't make it
don't do every day.
The 4 firefighters involved in the rescue say there were about a dozen other firefighters who helped them that day. It's so hard to see that.
It is difficult, and you know, we're all so grateful for these heroes.
Yeah, and that little baby, how sweet.
Tough story. I know, you see the little sweet face. All right.
Live from New York, this is the WB11 News at 10.
Last night, we brought you the second in a series of stories about the Buzzelli family. Miraculously, Pasqule Buzzelli made it out alive after he was trapped in one of the collapsing towers on September 11th. Tonight, Howard Thompson brings you the family's emotional reunion today with some of the firefighters who saved his life.
We really would like to, meet them and say thank you and, just have them over for dinner or something.
Have them see hope.
Look, these are the men that brought your daddy home the same night.
They are Michael Lyons and Mike Morabito from Engine 228, John Drury from Rescue 5, and Jimmy Kiesling from Rescue 2. On September 11th, Pasqule Buzzelli was trying to escape the North Tower. He made it to the 21st floor when the tower collapsed.
And I felt the walls crack that I was next to. And kind of like come on top of me. That's when I knew the building's going. I was just praying and praying. And then I felt the walls separate. Stuff was hitting my head.
Pasqule sustained a severely sprained leg and was knocked unconscious. When he awoke, New York's bravest were there.
I looked up, and there he was.
It was amazing to see that he was sitting there. He was on a small piece of concrete. We had hoped there would be thousands of people, if not, hundreds, if not thousands. And when we actually came across Pasqule, it was great. So we thought, thank God, there's one person.
And he said, holy, I can't fill in the word, but, so we have a civilian up here.
Pasqule was trapped on an open ledge, and it posed a logistical nightmare for his rescuers.
I had one rope, and they clipped off other ropes to that rope so I could pull him up to make his harness and his lowering line.
As we told you last night, Louise was at home, 7 months pregnant, and watching the horror on television.
I just thought, there's no way that my husband made it out. And I just thought, oh my God, Jesus, please, just don't let him suffer.
I love these guys, and they brought me home to my wife, and now my beautiful girl, Hope.
My grandma says that when a baby sleeps, they dream about angels. And now that I have met all of you, you are the angels that I have dreamed about. Before I go to bed each night, I'll ask Jesus to watch you through the day and the night until you wake in morning's light. And God bless you all. You want to eat?
She's hungry.
Yeah?
Little Hope Buzzelli was born on November 18th, and this happy moment is brought to you by the brave men of Engine 228, Rescue 5, and Rescue 2.
It's nice to have anyone saved and anyone come out of this, anything good come out of this, because it was just a day of terror and tragedy.
Out of the death and destruction, a family is saved, a child is born, and hope for the future.
These lambs.
I'm Howard Thompson for the WB11 News at 10.
Well, between that and the piece before it on the photographs, it doesn't take much to bring back the emotions from that day, does it? But I'm glad we got a happy ending on at least one of those.
Indeed. Straight ahead.